A lone Ukrainian soldier moves cautiously toward a civilian house, a grenade clutched tightly in his hand. Above him, a drone silently tracks his every move. Reaching a window, he pulls the pin and tosses the grenade inside before swiftly retreating to cover. A few tense seconds pass in silence. Three Russian soldiers emerge from the building, unaware of what awaits them. They move through the gate and into a field of dry grass. Suddenly, gunfire erupts, sharp, precise. One falls instantly, then another. Two lie motionless. The third soldier breaks into a desperate run, but from above, the drone descends and drops its payload. A swift, silent explosion ends the chase. A Ukrainian reconnaissance drone observes three Russian soldiers entering a house, moving cautiously as they check each corner and window. Once they're convinced the area is safe, calm returns, but only for a moment. On the horizon, an FPV drone appears, racing straight toward the building. In seconds, it crashes into the front entrance, breaking the silence with a powerful explosion. The door shatters on impact, sending dust and debris into the air. Moments later, another drone arrives, hovering above the wreckage, pauses, scans, then dives straight through the breach. The second explosion tears the building apart. Walls crumble, smoke billows. What was meant to be shelter becomes a deadly trap. In this war, no wall guarantees safety, and no refuge escapes the watchful eyes above. A rear-mounted camera captures a Ukrainian Mi-24 attack helicopter firing a barrage of unguided rockets at Russian positions. The footage showcases the sheer power and precision of low-altitude assault tactics. Fast, aggressive, and devastatingly effective. A Ukrainian drone spots a Russian soldier crawling slowly across the dirt. Exhausted, he drags himself toward a nearby bush, hoping to rest unseen. But above, an FPV drone is already closing in, silently locking on. The soldier, unaware he's being tracked, curls beneath the brush. Too tired, too afraid to move. He doesn't run. He doesn't shoot. He just lies still as if accepting his fate. Then, with cold precision, the drone dives and strikes. Two Russian soldiers sat on the ground, casually talking under the open sky. Suddenly, a Ukrainian FPV drone appeared in the distance. Within seconds, it closed in and struck with pinpoint accuracy. The conversation ended in a flash of smoke and silence. A Russian soldier stands deep in a trench, hands clasped in a pleading gesture, begging the Ukrainian FPV drone hovering above to spare him. For a brief moment, he seems to believe mercy is possible. He climbs out of the trench and begins to walk hesitantly across the field, but the drone shadows his every move. Then panic takes over. He starts to run. The drone locks in, dives, and ends it all within seconds. A vehicle carrying Russian soldiers came under a kamikaze drone attack. At the last moment, the soldiers jumped out, scrambling to escape. Seconds later, the fast-approaching drone struck the vehicle, detonating on impact and engulfing it in flames. One by one, the drones descended. The first strike disabled a troop carrier, halting its movement. Seconds later, another drone struck a lightly armored jeep. Panic rippled through the convoy as the remaining vehicles sped up, swerving to evade. But the drones adjusted in real time, tracking every turn, every maneuver. A Russian soldier walks alone through a field of dying grass. He slows, crouches to check his foot, clearly in pain. Hours of movement have taken their toll. He adjusts his boot, shifts his weight, still not looking up. From above, the drone observes every hesitation and blind spot. Then it makes its move, dropping low and fast, silent. The drone impacts immediately, incapacitating the soldier. In modern warfare, the sky watches, and it never blinks. A Russian BM-30 Smerch multiple rocket launcher, valued at millions, was spotted by Ukrainian forces in a vulnerable position. A Ukrainian FPV drone carrying a small explosive payload struck the launcher, triggering a massive detonation that destroyed the vehicle and its missiles. Incidents like this continue to demonstrate how drones are reshaping the battlefield and threatening high-value military assets. The footage opens with a Ukrainian reconnaissance UAV observing a lone Russian soldier standing in a wooded area. The feed is relayed to FPV drone operators, who use the information to launch a targeted strike. Later confirmation shows a successful engagement on the infantry position. A Ukrainian FPV drone infiltrated deep into the Russian zone in the Kursk region, spotting a Russian soldier walking along a road. The soldier looked up, noticing the drone overhead, but dismissed it and kept moving. Seconds later, the same drone he ignored dove at full speed and struck him directly. A fatal mistake in a war where hesitation costs lives. Two Russian soldiers move cautiously through a trench line, exhaustion weighing on every step. Eventually, fatigue wins. One drops near the edge, the other sinks deeper into the shallow ditch. Then, the buzz of an FPV drone cuts through the silence. It dives and strikes the exposed soldier instantly. The other freezes, heart pounding, buried in mud and fear, hoping the drone won't return. Seconds later, another drone arrives, silent, relentless. It doesn't circle or hesitate. It dives straight into the trench. The explosion swallows the narrow passage, leaving nothing but smoke and silence. In this war, drones don't wait. Once you're marked, there's nowhere left to hide. Ukraine launched a coordinated drone assault targeting Russian trench lines and bunker entrances along the front. Guided by real-time aerial surveillance, the drones struck with precision, collapsing fortifications and cutting off escape routes. Each impact was calculated, fast, synchronized, and devastating. Ukrainian operators detected enemy troops moving between dugouts and preparing defensive positions. FPV drones were then deployed in coordinated waves, tracking their movements and applying precise pressure on the exposed forces. During a battle near Kostiantynivka in the Donetsk region, Ukrainian serviceman Artem Smilyi conducted a daring raid on a Russian fortified position, neutralizing it with an anti-tank mine. A Ukrainian drone identifies a house suspected of serving as a shelter and UAV control point for Russian forces. Coordinates are confirmed. Moments later, a Ukrainian MiG-29 approaches from high altitude and releases a precision-guided bomb. The strike hits directly, and the house collapses within seconds, sending smoke towering into the sky. From above, the outcome is clear: one less control point, one less shelter. The sky remains dominant. A Ukrainian drone spots 3 Russian soldiers entering a bunker amid rubble. One drone strikes the entrance, followed by another, and then another, totaling 5 waves. Each impact hits with increasing force until the doorway finally collapses entirely. In this war, relentless pressure from above can turn even the most fortified shelter into an inescapable trap. Ukraine launched a coordinated drone strike against a Russian convoy moving along a rural road. The column included both armored vehicles and light transports, all high-value tactical targets. Overhead, Ukrainian FPV drones trailed silently, each assigned to track and engage a specific vehicle. Utility GoPro witness. The footage begins with a soldier's breath. A GoPro mounted on his helmet captures the tense rhythm of war. Quiet, unpredictable. Through the lens, we see the terrain. broken roads, scattered debris, and a small Russian utility truck moving slowly across the field. It's unarmored and slow, but carrying personnel, one at the wheel, another in the back. A Ukrainian FPV drone is already airborne, guided by operators monitoring from afar. The drone locks onto the truck, adjusting speed, angle, and altitude. The GoPro captures the moment the soldier notices it, a small speck in the sky growing rapidly. Seconds later, the drone strikes. The truck jolts violently, smoke rises, and the vehicle is rendered inoperable. The driver is incapacitated, and the occupant in the back is thrown clear. The GoPro shakes as the soldier moves in, scanning the area and confirming the vehicle is disabled. The footage doesn't just show destruction. It illustrates the immediacy of modern warfare, how a drone, a camera, and a single precise strike can change the battlefield in seconds.